Greetings everyone, and as you can see I am back here in practice mode because I want to talk about a topic that has been on my mind for quite some time. It's been kind of like rejuvenated by the tracking hell sweep / reverted back to non-tracking, and that's how 3D is Tekken actually. It's definitely not a 2D game. We can step in both directions, we have 3D stages, we have walls, we have whatever. But it always feels to me, whenever you dig your teeth kind of like super deep into it, it always shows that it was originally, you know, the first two Tekken games were kind of like completely 2D. There was nothing 3D about them. I believe only in Tekken 2, kind of like Heihachi got his, his laughing step. And in Tekken 3 they gave it to everyone. Well, of course not the laughing step itself, but the ability to sidestep. And so it's kind of like it was implemented later, it wasn't there from the beginning, and it kind of shows. Well, here's the thing, you know, in 2D games you do a lot of jumping, and I got this from John Ding actually. This was an interview done with him during the very early days of Tekken 7. And the way he put it is, in 2D games you jump, and yes, your opponent can kind of like mix you with an overhead / low, but if you jump, in 90% of cases, you avoid both options, and it forces your opponent to kind of like do a specific thing like an anti-air or something like that. And in Tekken, it's almost as if the same thing exists, but your jump is kind of like split into two directions. You can jump here, you can jump there. If you want to put this like in 2D terms, as if you have the option to jump up from the ground, or you can like jump down, let's say, underneath the stage. So this is kind of like the equivalent of these two. Problem is, while of course definitely everybody's going to tell you if you don't utilize sidestepping you're going to be at a disadvantage in Tekken, and this is absolutely true. My problem is it doesn't feel like this could kind of like be interpreted as a hitbox hurtbox issue, but this is way more pronounced once you start like stepping and getting off-axis situations. Well, what do I mean by that? Getting my opponent's back is absolutely advantageous. Even if I'm not playing a wrestler or a grappler character, throws become uninterruptible. And generally, the character cannot block. So, no, sorry, let's put it to guard all. Generally, as you can see, this string here is not a natural combo, as well as this thing here. But if I get my opponent's back, even though he's set to guard all, he eats it. He can't block it. And the same applies to the second one. However, that doesn't mean that he can't crouch. He can still duck. So, once you get your opponent's back, yes, he can't block, but he can still crouch. So, okay, fine, maybe you can do, I don't know, like, I don't really have that many kind of like mid, non-natural strings normally here as Armor King, but you get the point. This, for example, this is not normally a natural combo, but it kind of like connects. But if you get your opponent's back, you generally want to launch. This is where the problems start kind of like presenting. Okay, my optimal launcher as Armor King is Dark Upper, and if I try to do my staple here, for example, this is my staple, into the tailspin. And if I try to do it from the back, you're going to see that it whiffs. See? The knee whiffs. And even if it's not like off-axis, you're not going to be like completely aligned, but still. Even this, which is usually kind of like almost more consistent in the way it connects, even this whiffs. So you're forced to kind of like do makeshift combos, or kind of like specific combos. In this case, you have to do this into a Burning Knuckle Ender. I'm not super knowledgeable on those on Armor King, but it generally should lead to more damage, but you have to do a different combo than you do usually. So okay, fine, I'm going to give like getting my opponent's back a pass. I'm going to say that it's actually much more beneficial. Problem is, if I step and I get my opponent's side, things start to get wonky. First of all, out of sidestep, for example, my best Punisher for 10 frames is 2-1, okay? And if I step and I press 2-1, I get this. Now this is fantastic, this leads to a launch, but what if I'm late? Because this is 15 frames. So if I want to step and do just 2-1, see how much after a delay it still comes out? I have to step, press back, and then 2-1. Like, this makes me kind of like resort to 1-2, which is less damage and less advantageous overall. Furthermore, So this is the first thing, that there are a lot of moves kind of like tied to a sidestep, and they deprive you from other moves that you usually would want to go for. This, I believe, is most pronounced on characters like Asuka. This is why she doesn't benefit from sidestepping all that much. Furthermore, throws are nerfed. On the back, throws became completely unbreakable. On the side, see, this is a giant swing, okay? I programmed King, or I recorded King doing a giant swing. I made him sidestep. If I keep holding forward, this is a giant swing. And as you know, giant swings are usually broken with a 1. As you can see down there, if I press a 2, I don't escape. I get grabbed. But if I let King sidewalk me here, see, I break with a 2. Because no matter what throw he does, if he catches my side, he's going to do his side throw, which is less damage than a giant swing to begin with, and it kind of like eliminates the benefit that King has, and Armor King as well, by having like above average throws with kind of like ambiguous breaks sometimes. So no matter what throw he does, for example, if I make him do this Tijuana Twister here, this is a 2 break normally, and of course on this side I'm going to still break it with a 2. Missed the break somehow. And even this Muscle Buster, I know this is kind of like not super necessary. Muscle Buster is usually broken with 1+2. From the side, it's broken with a 2 because it all leads to the same throw. So throws are nerfed. This doesn't happen that often. Like, I'm not gonna say that your opponent is going to like be reacting to this and pressing the proper limb, because whenever I grab King from this side, he's going to break with a 2 because his right arm is facing me. Whenever I grab him from this side, he's going to break with a 1 because his left arm is facing me. But throws are way nerfed, at least in damage. Let's keep it at that, at least in damage. Depending on, if I just don't talk about the ducking aspect, if I just stay at guard all, from here, for example, it still connects because, as you can see, it actually switches to back turned. But here, he blocked. So I can't possibly know whether or not he's going to block or not, because I don't know if he's going to end up back turned after the first hit or not. So I don't know whether or not I want to go for the full thing. Second, good luck finding a consistent dark upper combo from this angle. You have to go for something less damaging, because burning knuckle kind of like setups from here are way less kind of like prevalent, because I believe, for example, here he can escape. I'm sure you will find somebody to teach you that kind of stuff, but it makes like, I already stepped my opponent. I did something that's not easy. Why does the game require me to jump through extra hoops to get my damage? If I get a hop kick here, can I please get like a normal combo? See, down forward 1 here whiffs. Like, this is usually, see, he kind of like flipped over. You don't know what's going to happen once you get to your opponent's side, and this is why a lot of people kind of like prefer to not go for a launch. Well, a lot of it has to do with you don't really know how much of an opening you still have after the sidestep, because it's a whiff, not block. So you're not kind of like locked into a fixed block animation with frame advantages you can already know. So we'd prefer to do something kind of like safer after whiff, and this is what pros do at high level of play. But this goes like beyond that. A lot of hits kind of like leave your opponent at kind of like weird angle. Let's say, for example, if I set throw escapes, opponent throw escapes on, if I grab him with this, like this leaves us at this kind of like super weird angle where he doesn't know how to approach, I don't know what to do. I generally hold back to kind of like realign. This happens a lot in certain Oki situations. You know, with this, for example, with out in the open here, this kind of like leads to this launch at this angle, but if I get it from the side, it's all of a sudden better because I can just do Shining Wizard point blank. But if I get it from this side, he's going to be flipped around. It's so kind of like inconsistent. And the worst offender of this, of course, is the sidewall. You know the memes. Sidewall saves lives and all that jazz. I believe this originates from Tekken 4, where sidewall kind of like led to infinites. So they were so scared of it, where they kind of like nerfed the sidewall splat to oblivion, to the point of where you make like whenever you wall splat, something on the side, just stop. You know you can't get anything. Your opponent kind of like drifts down to the ground super quickly and tech rolls immediately. Which leads me to another thing. Whenever your opponent tech rolls, if I can find something, like you're slightly off axis, and this leads to a lot of kind of like whiffs. You could argue this is kind of like intentional, because they wanted, this of course leaves them face down so they won't do that. But see, for that for example, that whiffed. Maybe that's by design, yes. But sometimes you can get these situations off of like clearly unintended circumstances, you know? And again, sidewall. So this kind of like really puts a dent in the 3D aspect of Tekken in my book, that like the best thing that can happen to me is step and still get my opponent head on so that my combos can stay consistent, like the interactions that I'm used to can stay the same, especially from the side. Like, is he gonna block? Is he gonna be considered back-turned? Is he gonna be considered like, what's the game here? Whereas in other games, especially ones developed by Namco like Soul Calibur, I don't care what happens when you step your opponent, everything stays the same. Oh, final thing I forgot to mention, counter hits don't work. So this is down forward too, this is a counter hit, okay? This is from the side, nothing. And it's still -1 on hit. Can you believe that? So you could say like, okay, how often are you going to counter hit someone from the side? Well, I don't know. Why does it remove the counter hit properties at all? So there's a lot of things that go on with like stepping your opponent, getting his side. There's a lot of extra hoops you have to jump through that I don't believe should exist. I'm sure somebody can find like some kind of like fantastic off-axis combo. Maybe kind of like this is a weakness that armor. This is the reason, for example, that with King, I prefer to do this tailspin, because this is super consistent off of sides. But it generally doesn't lead to best wall travel. And he generally has kind of like an advantage over Armor King in that regard, because he has this string, which is mid, so they can't do anything about it. So, in a way, like, yes, 3D, whatever, sidestep always, because this is Tekken, it gives you a lot of advantage, but I really wish they could kind of like iron these things out. Of course, they're not going to do that in this game. Maybe they would do that in later games, but yeah, I'd really love for the 3D aspect of this game to be a little bit more consistent and to lead to far less kind of like weird, awkward, strange situations where you kind of like, you don't know what's going to happen. Like, you get your opponent's side, you launch, and will this whiff or not? Because maybe I could show it to you here. Sometimes even down forward one whiffs from here. Like, I hope I could get it to happen once. It's not happening. I assure you it happened to me numerous times off camera. And I don't really know what to do here, because I have to kind of like either realign, either go for the Burning Knuckle setup, which I don't know how to properly set up, so on and so forth. So I believe I've made my point. Thank you all for watching. Take care and goodbye.